What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just want to give a little rundown of, this is a recap video of my BFL tournament that wrapped up yesterday, May 18th, on the Mississippi River at La Crosse. It's really bugging me to have to make this video right now because I was feeling really good about my practice. I spent most of the week looking for largemouth. I knew, that first wave of spawning smallmouth was pretty potent this year. That kind of happened during the Bass Nation tournament. A lot of fish were up, a lot of big ones were up, and I knew there were still going to be a lot of smallmouth up for this BFL, but I felt that when you start getting in towards the later portions of the spawn, that's when it's really beneficial to kind of have a mixed bag in these tournaments. It gets harder and harder to catch those 4+ pound smallmouth that you need to get to that 20+ pound bag. So I really wanted to have a two-pronged approach. I'm going to find big largemouth that are pulling in and spawning, and I'm going to have enough smallmouth on beds found to try to put together a big mixed bag of fish. Basically, I had a smallmouth that was really big found, and another smallmouth that was pretty big found, and through talking with another competitor, kind of came to the realization Friday night, the night before the tournament, that other competitor found one of those fish, and he told me he was going to start there. So that was a little bit concerning to me. It honestly spun me out a little bit before the tournament even started, because I was kind of banking on being able to weigh that fish in the tournament, and it just kind of was a train wreck from start to finish on Saturday. Like I said, I figured I could probably catch 17 to 19 pounds of smallmouth pretty quickly in the morning, and then go spend the rest of the day catching big largemouth on topwaters, really dirt shallow water, and none of that came to fruition. I started on my big smallmouth, fished for it for like an hour, and could not catch it. It was all over the bait. It just would not eat it. I felt like maybe if I just gave it some time, come back in the afternoon when the sun's beating on it, because I've seen this in the past where some of those really big ones, they can be really temperamental like that, and sometimes when the sun gets right and they get warmed up a little bit, they're a lot easier to catch. And where she was sitting, I was having a hard time seeing the fish on live scope. I felt that their chances of somebody else just coming along and stumbling into her weren't very good, so I felt comfortable leaving that fish to come back to later. And all day long I was kind of like in the back of my head like, all right, we just got to find some fish, it's going to work out. I still got that big one I'm going to go catch later. Like, I was banking on that fish being in my live well at the end of the day. I wasn't even worried about it. I was like, I know I'm going to catch this fish. Long story short, had a long day, stressful day, did not catch a lot of good ones fishing for largemouth, and I went down that rabbit hole for hours. Caught a ton of fish, but just no big ones. The big ones that I had been seeing in practice seemed to be gone, and I think maybe the falling water played a role in that. Some of those bigger ones got their job done and got out quick, and I just didn't connect with them. I didn't make the right decisions for the conditions in the day. And the worst decision I made was to leave that fish, because I came back, the fish I started on is what I'm referring to here. I came back with about 45 minutes till check-in, pulled in on this fish, and another competitor was just up the bank, within earshot of me, sees me pulling in there, and he turns around to me and says, "Hey, you trying to catch that 5-pounder?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, I got her, so just want to save you some time." And I was about to throw up. I told him, "Prove it." I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. And he mentioned to me that the fish was blind in one eye, and that was so I had caught this fish obviously already in practice. It was an accident. I tried to shake it off. I ended up catching it. So I knew that was a distinct feature of this fish, and I knew, I mean, it's the fish, I posted this fish on Instagram. There's a picture of me holding it the day before the tournament. It's a 5 pounder and it was missing an eye. So when he told me that this fish was missing an eye, I knew that he really did catch it, and I was devastated. You know, I was banking on that fish, and not only that, but this competitor ended up winning the tournament. You know, I don't think he would have won that tournament without that fish. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think my friend Clayton would have probably won the tournament had he not caught that fish. So it is what it is. You know, you make decisions and you got to live with them. At the end of the day, it was the wrong decision on that day. I pride myself on usually making really good decisions, but in that moment, you know, like I kind of wish I wouldn't have started on that fish. I wish I would have maybe started and got a limit in the boat and got some confidence and momentum rolling, and then I could roll back and go to that fish after already having some of that pressure alleviated. For me, a big reason why I left that fish is because I'm looking at the clock and it's like, dang, you know, we're closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning and I got no fish in the live well, and I've got a lot of stuff I want to hit today, so we got to get the ball moving here. And, you know, that just, to start that negatively, I could never get out of a negative mindset all day long, you know, and it really just came to a head at the end to have that happen. And, you know, it's in the rear view now. It's the first really bad BFL that I've had in a long time out of lacrosse. You know, I've had some tough ones at Prairie du Chien and at Winneconne, but, you know, I've kind of been a pretty consistent angler in lacrosse over the years, and it is what it is. I weighed 14 pounds 4 ounces for 5 fish and finished 20th place. First guy out of the money. Pretty painful, but just want to say thanks to my co-angler, Chris Morgan. I've known Chris for several years. He's a really good guy, and this was the first time that we actually drew each other, so I was looking forward to like having a fun day with Chris, and it, you know, he got to witness my absolute like meltdowns multiple different times during the day because I was having a bad day, really bad day. So thanks to Chris, he was a good sport about it. He put up with it. He fought through it and managed to catch a 4 pounder and another pretty solid fish. So, you know, he also did not get a check, but honestly, for him to catch what he did on the kind of day that I was having is pretty solid. Like, he did not have much to work with because I didn't have much to work with. So, you know, kudos to him for being positive and, you know, not getting down when I was down. Thanks for a good day, Chris. Other than that, I don't have much else to say. I'm ready for this spawning smallmouth stuff to be done with. This year has been really tough on me because, you know, I've been making quite a bit of money off of this style of fishing for years, and I had to do it a certain way because you couldn't see the fish. You didn't know they were there. You know, it basically amounted to working through areas super meticulously to identify where these fish were likely spawning. And you're just making a lot of assumptions. Now people can find these fish at the push of a button. And I am not anti-technology. I support it, but this one does hurt quite a bit because it's taken away so much water from my, you know, so much stuff that I've depended on for years. And it's a hard pill to swallow. So I'm just going to have to retool my strategy at this time of year and find a way that I can rise back to that top level consistency that I've had before. A lot of it's the mental thing. Got to work on that after this one, and we're going to get better. We're going to get stronger. I need a couple days off to kind of reflect on this, and then we're going to hit back. You know, I'm going to wash the boat. I'm going to organize my garage. It's pure chaos in here. Lick my wounds a little bit, but you can't keep me off the horse too long when it comes to fishing. So I will be back out there probably no later than Tuesday, and I'm going to be hungrier than ever. So I'm not even sure when my next tournament is, but now's the time I'm going to I'm going to edit some videos, I got some good stuff cooking up from that Bass Nation tournament. I rolled GoPro the entire day too, so I got some fish catches. Some I'll show you, some I won't, because there's some stuff that I don't want to give up as far as locations go, but I think it'll be a pretty good video that you'll want to check out. I'm just kind of trying to get the time that I need to get it all put together. It's really difficult with working a full-time job. I don't take any vacation for a BFL. I just fish in between my work schedule, and that's what I go with. So finding time to also edit videos in there is kind of tough. But this week, not having any tournaments this week, I think I'm going to finally get some catch up in. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to let this one die. We're going to head out of here and get on to the next one. We'll see you next time.